Hello everyone, this is Joseph from Body Wisdom Training. I do my best to put out great content about yoga and breathing and the body and anatomy and everything that we all share, which is we all live in a body. So today I want to talk about breathing in what I call dynamic breath work, or in the yoga world is called Ujjayi Pranayama. This is part one. If you like the content, hit the like button, and I will just continue to be driven to bring you the very best in what I understand to be real, actual yoga. So this Ujjayi Pranayama is built or created for breathing strongly and at the same time breathing relaxed. So we bring the union of opposites into this breath, and that's essentially what yoga is most all hatha yoga basically means the union of opposites, meaning you were born with a sperm and an egg, the opposites. You have an inhalation and you have an exhalation, the opposites. You have above and below opposites, left and right, your internal world and the external world. In yoga practice, we bring those two worlds together. And the way that we do that is first and foremost through a breath-centered practice, which means the breath is the primary focus of the practice itself. All of the postures and all of the movements are secondary, just as important, but the primary focus of a breath-centered practice means that you're holding your attention on the breath itself. How do we do that? We do that in several different ways. We do that with the sound that we're making with our breath. We do that with the proprioceptive ability that we develop over time from understanding the filling and emptying of the lungs themselves and the space that the lungs are taking up within the diaphragm and the thoracic body or cavity. And then the third, and maybe most importantly, is that we realize that there isn't too much going on in our brains other than focusing our attention on just breathing. Okay, so as I said, this is part one of a 3-part series in terms of teaching Ujjayi breathing. Now, some of you've heard this breath called the ocean breath. And that's what I like to call it, the ocean breath or the dynamic breath, or the actual name of it, Ujjayi Pranayama. This breath is the breath that you should be using in all posture yoga, what people call hatha yoga or hatha vinyasa yoga. This breath that I'm going to show you, or part of this breath today, I'm going to show you is the breath that should be used in all of your physical movements in your asana practices. The first part is developing the exhalation. What we're utilizing here to create the sound that you're going to hear me breathe in a minute is the closing of the throat. Why do we want to close off the throat when we breathe? Because over the course of moving a postural sequence, you want to control your movements, how deep you flow, how deep you go in the movements and the postures. And the strongest place to control your breathing is at the throat. So the mechanics of this breath develop over time because you're conditioning and strengthening and becoming more sensitive to the muscles around the larynx and the throat that close off or open up airflow. One of the ways, and most of you watching this have all used these muscles at some point in your life. We call them the whispering muscles. They literally allow you to control the airflow. And instead of using your vocal cords, they're not triggered because you're reducing, or I should say increasing, the airflow through this area of the throat. So one of the ways that I talk about in my book called Miracle of Body Wisdom is whisper a sentence. If you're whispering like that, you can start to, you're triggering or stimulating these muscles. If you want to take that another step, then you would use a ha sound, H-A-A. So many of you have done this by cleaning your glasses, You create moist hot air through opening your mouth and allowing the breath to come onto the glasses, or fogging up a window in the cold. These are the two most the two ways that most people can identify with this breathing, at least in the exhalation. So a practice that you can do on a daily basis, which is really simple, is to breathe in real deep through your nostrils until you expand the lungs all the way. Now notice I'm sitting up when I do that because I'm creating space for the lungs to fill all the way. So I want to breathe in through my nose, fill the lungs up all the way to capacity, from the top all the way down to the base. And then on the exhale, open your mouth. From the back of your throat, create the compressing the air out, and then fill up again. Breathe in through the nose, kind of relax as you fill. Full, deep, complete inhalation, and then on the exhale. You can do that over and over. I recommend people do that 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening for a while, until you kind of work your way up to doing 20 consecutive breaths like that. And preferably sitting down so you don't get lightheaded or off balance when you're doing it. If you feel like you have good balance, you can do that by inhaling, standing up from your chair, reaching to the sky, filling up again the lungs. And then on the exhale, you sit down. You coordinate the breath with the movement. As I inhale, I stand up and reach up. Pause or hold the breath. Start the exhale and then sit down into it, controlling the airflow out. Ideally, working your way up to slowing it down as much as possible as you sit down. Right? Breathe in, come up. Pause after your lungs are completely full, and then almost like a hole in a tire. The more meticulously that you can coordinate the breath and the movement, which is a simple movement, the more that your brain will start to let go of other thoughts, which is part of the magic here. In the next video, I'm going to talk about part 2 of this breathing. So part 1 is just get the exhale down. When you exhale the air out, engage the abdominals in. So you're kind of squeezing the air out. You're compressing the air out, which is why this works very naturally. When you inhale and stand up, you're creating space for the lungs to fill, especially when you reach the arms up overhead. And then on the exhalation, as you sit down, it's a natural compression of the air out of the body. And you're just accentuating that by filling up all the way as you come up, expanding the lungs all the way down to the base, and then on the exhalation, squeezing the air out. Do that 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening. The next day or two after that, do it 20 times in a row, and I guarantee you will feel different. After you breathe, you're doing inhale and exhale. After you do that a number of times, just come to a seated position, close your eyes and rest everything. Rest the breath, rest the body, relax your face, neck, jaw, shoulders, arms, hands. Notice your feet on the floor. And you can just rest here as much as possible. In fact, deep breathing and moving the body creates the conditions for meditation to arise naturally, which will also be a video coming soon. Hit the like button. I hope you have a great day and be well.